Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. Flag Day, baby. That is right. Cooper Flagg. Tonight was the NBA draft lottery. Again, we did no Sunday episode, so I thought we would wait until after the draft lottery. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, am I glad we did. We knew the draft lottery was Monday. We know, listen, I don't care who got the number one overall pick. Cooper Flagg is going number one. I mean, even if it's somebody that doesn't want the pick, you know, the Rockets or something, they might trade the pick. But I bring it up because we knew Cooper Flagg was going to go number one. Just the question becomes, what team would be lucky enough to have the opportunity to draft him? Well, it wasn't the team with the best odds, the Washington Wizards. It wasn't the team with the second best odds, which I believe was the Charlotte Hornets. Third best odds was, I think, the Brooklyn Nets. I can't remember all the details now. All I do know is that with a percentage of 1.8% chance of winning the lottery, in other words, if they did the lottery 100 times, less than 2 times out of 100, the Dallas Mavericks would win it. Well, guess what? The Dallas Mavericks win the Cooper Flagg draft lottery. And with that, they have the chance to draft a generational prospect. I think one of the best college basketball players that can do a little bit of everything that I have ever seen. So here's what I will say. There's a lot to discuss with Cooper Flagg. There's a lot to dive into. I had all these notes about the impact that he could have on this organization, that organization, but that's not what you care about on a Monday. By the way, we're recording a little bit later. I must have drank too much coffee because I got so much freaking energy right now. But I just bring it up. You don't want to hear about Cooper Flagg's game. How does he finish with his left hand? How is he as a weak side blocker? No, you want to talk about a very easy conspiracy theory that I will be completely honest, I kind of sort of believe, and that is this. The Dallas Mavericks, who of course just so happened to trade Luka Dončić to the Los Angeles Lakers, are gifted the number one pick. So just 3 or 4 months after one of the 5 best players in the league, just now entering his prime. Oh, by the way, do not forget, he was fresh off an NBA Finals appearance. He just so happens to end up a Los Angeles Laker. Fast forward 2 or 3 months, and oh, by the way, a team with a 1.8% chance to win the draft lottery wins it. Yeah, my tinfoil hat is on. Yeah, I'm calling BS. And yeah, I'm calling conspiracy theory. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in. Listen, we don't talk a ton of NBA, but it's okay. This is the day to do it. And let me start by saying this. So I think a lot of you know, Aaron Torres Pod is incredible. We reach millions of people every year. But I only bring it up to say that in addition to doing the Aaron Torres Pod, I host Fox Sports Radio's National Saturday Night Show, okay? So that's a lot of college football in the fall, NFL playoffs, whatever. And on the night of February 1st of 2025, I was hosting at about midnight Eastern time. I host from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. every Saturday with Jason Martin. He's the best. I love working with him, okay? And so going into that night, you know what we thought we were going to be talking about? John Calipari's return to Kentucky and Rupp Arena at Arkansas, getting the win, and we're going to discuss that. And then, you know what happened from there? At about 12:20 Eastern time, in the middle of our show, Luka Dončić gets traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers. We were live on air when it happened, okay? And I only bring it up to very simply say that since that day, I have never yet to hear a good explanation as to why that trade happened. Okay, so I was on air, and I'll be totally transparent. We did the thing that everybody else did. We see the trade. Luka Dončić to the Lakers with this guy for Anthony Davis, this guy. And we did the same thing on air that everybody else did. We paused. We went over to our update anchor, Steve DeSager, who's great at what he does as well. We waited. We waited to see if Shams had been hacked. We waited to see if the official ESPN Twitter had been hacked. And I just bring it up because you go back to that night. There was no logical explanation that could justify the trade. And to be totally transparent, I've been following the story. I live in Los Angeles. I was on air when the trade happened, okay? And so I only bring it up to very simply say that trade happened on February 1st, 2025. We are recording here May 12th, 2025. I have still yet to hear a single good explanation as to why the Mavericks traded Luka Dončić. I know what Nico Harrison has said. He's said all these things about, well, we're a defensive first organization. And I didn't know the impact that Luka had on the community. And if you had Anthony Davis with Kyrie Irving and Derek Lively and PJ Washington, that's a championship team. And all of that sounds well and good, but it does not justify and it does not explain trading a 25-year-old Luka Dončić, just now entering his prime, just now going into the heart of his career, fresh off of a finals appearance. It never made sense. And so to bring it full circle, this isn't a Luka segment. But, by the way, some of you, this is probably the first time you ever heard me talk NBA, so you're like, I can't believe Torres is even going in this direction. But I just bring it up. The trade never made sense in the moment. And so why do I bring it full circle to Cooper Flagg on May 12th of 2025? It is because if you want to believe in a convenient conspiracy theory, I think it's right there, right? What is the conspiracy theory? In a season where NBA ratings were tanking, I know the playoff ratings are good, but go back to January, go back to February. They were down even more than they had been in previous years. I think the stat is something like they're down 40% overall since the start of since like 2012, okay? And so I bring it up. If you want the conspiracy theory, in a season where NBA ratings were tanking, Luka Dončić, a star, gets traded to the most marketable franchise, the biggest franchise in the NBA with a star closing in on 40 years old. And nobody can explain it. Nico Harrison can't really justify it. Ownership is ducking questions. If you want your conspiracy theory, here it is. The NBA helped facilitate Luka Dončić to the Los Angeles Lakers, and in return, Cooper Flagg is going to the Dallas Mavericks. That is the favor that the Mavericks have been awarded or given after trading Luka Dončić. Basically, you do us a solid. You trade Luka to the Lakers. You make them relevant. Guess what? We will take care of you. We will send a generational prospect over your way. Listen, I'm not saying that it happened. But what I am saying feels awfully convenient, doesn't it? I mean, because think about it. First of all, think about everything over the last couple months. One, like I said, it's 4 months after the fact. There is no way to justify Luka Dončić's trade to the Los Angeles Lakers. 25-year-old in his prime, coming off an NBA Finals appearance. There's still no real explanation to it. So that happens. Everybody gets mad. Nico Harrison becomes the public face of this. By the way, everybody was mad. Dirk Nowitzki has largely disowned the Dallas Mavericks. I mean, everybody has disowned the Dallas Mavericks. Attendance is down. Merchandising is down. People are unfollowing them on social media. But Nico Harrison did a solid for the league. And now, as a return favor, he now gets Cooper Flagg. And like I mentioned, by the way, Dallas didn't just win the NBA draft lottery. They won the WNBA draft lottery and took Paige Beckers as the number 1 overall pick as well. And so, listen, I haven't looked at the chat yet. I don't know how many people are in the chat with the conspiracy theories that I were. But I just I see what AR said. You did make me laugh there. I'm sorry. So listen, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, but I will say if you believe in conspiracy theories, this is a pretty good one. So that's my conspiracy theory on Cooper Flagg and Luka Dončić and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, I'll say this. As far as a fit is concerned, it's a very interesting fit. And the one thing I will say, let me to completely switch gears. Let's talk about Cooper Flagg. I almost said, I won't even say what I almost said, but go back to AR's comment in the chat. That was the name that I almost said. Anyway, all right. So I've given my conspiracy theory. We can't explain how Luka Dončić ended up as a Los Angeles Laker. This now is the payback. Nico Harrison, this is his saving grace. One thing I will say, excuse my language, I don't like to swear on this show, and I don't even know if this is a swear, But damn, are the Dallas Mavericks interesting now. Okay, so Dallas went, and listen, the one thing I will say, I'll justify Nico Harrison from this perspective. Okay, think the trade was awful. Think his explanation was awful. Think that him saying that he didn't understand how much Luka meant to the Dallas community, I thought it was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard anybody say in professional sports. Even if you know that to be true, don't say it. Don't say it publicly, okay? But what I will defend Nico Harrison on is when he actually sat down and explained, look, here's the bottom line. The reason that we did this is as follows. We believe that a core of Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, and Klay Thompson, we believe that is a core that can win the championship. Now, I disagree. I still think the trade is sketchy. But on paper, that is a pretty good team. And of course, that's under the assumption that everybody's healthy. But that's also where we have to start the Cooper Flagg conversation. This just got very interesting, okay? Because the one thing I will say, Dallas has plenty of talent on that roster. Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis. Whatever you think about Anthony, by the way, I think the reason the Lakers lost in the playoffs was because Anthony Davis was, because Anthony Davis was the defender, rim protector, low post guy that they needed. So Anthony Davis is great, just can't stay healthy. Kyrie Irving will obviously be coming off a knee surgery. Klay Thompson's about 34, 35. But the one thing you can't deny is that team has talent. Now you put Cooper Flagg into the mix. And the one thing I will say about Cooper Flagg, I led the segment by saying this because I believe it to be the truth. I do think Cooper Flagg's about the most talented freshman that I've ever seen in terms of an ability to impact things on both ends of the floor. I think I said this during the season, and I'll go ahead and say it here, is that I do believe that in all my years watching college basketball, I believe that the two most gifted freshmen that I've ever seen in their ability to impact both ends of the floor were Anthony Davis and Cooper Flagg. Anthony Davis, so you go back, listen, Kentucky fans don't want to hear it, but it's the truth. John Calipari always used to say what? Anthony Davis took the fourth most shots on our team that year. And Anthony Davis was great offensively, National Player of the Year, but he was just as good defensively as well. 5 blocks per game that season. I went back and looked that up. I could not believe it, okay? So Anthony Davis was probably the best player that I had seen at the college level in an ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor. And so I just bring it up to very simply say that when you look at Cooper Flagg, what stands out to me is I think he's very much the same way. 19 points per game this season, 7.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, shot 39% from 3, but also about a block and a half and a steal and a half per game. And so he is the rare 5-star freshman. I didn't say he's the most offensively gifted. That's probably Carmelo Anthony. I would say Zion Williamson, sheer force of nature from a power and strength perspective, but from an ability to impact every phase of the NBA, every phase of a basketball game, Cooper Flagg's right up there. He's a guy that at 6'8", 6'9", can shoot the 3 ball. Average 19 a game, like I said. He could have averaged 28 if he wanted to, but he wanted to get others involved. He's always kind of making that right basketball play more than anything else. And so I just bring it up because I truly do believe in my heart that this is almost a perfect situation for him. Because as good as he was as a college player, the one thing that Cooper Flagg is not is what I just said about Carmelo Anthony. He's not a guy that is going to come in and just drop 23 points a game as a rookie and average 30 in his prime. He's not a guy whose sole ability is found in his ability to impact a game on the offensive end. That was a bad way to say that. Let me try that again. Cooper Flagg's impact on a game isn't solely can he put up 30 a game. There are a lot of freshmen that are like that. There are a lot of rookies that are like that. That's not Cooper Flagg. He's going to impact by being a playmaker, by being a defender, by being a help defender, by hitting threes, by making plays further. There are going to be games, and we saw it in college this year, he might only have 5 points, but he might have 13 assists. He might only have 5 points, but he might have 10 rebounds and 4 blocks. And so to now go to a Mavericks team where you don't need him to be the face of the franchise and where, you prepare notes for almost every scenario. And I thought what I was going to be talking about today was the reality of Cooper Flagg going to the Washington Wizards, going to the Utah Jazz, where he was going to have to be a 24-point-a-night scorer to open his career, and that's really not who he is. So I'll say this with Cooper Flagg. I think how he ended up as a Dallas Maverick is weird. By the way, the Mavs have been weird for the last couple years. Remember, was it last season or this? It was 2 seasons ago. They were in position to be in the play-in and then tanked the final game of the regular season to miss the play-in tournament. Then last year they make the finals. Then this year they trade Luka Dončić in the middle of the season. So I got questions, and I'll say this. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I don't want to get this video pulled off of YouTube. But for the people that are saying Nico Harrison is a plant for the NBA, I mean, the last couple months are hard to dispute. Let me just put it that way. I still don't get the Luka trade. I still don't fully understand it. And I still think it's a little bit suspicious that a few months after the Mavericks gift Luka Dončić to the Los Angeles Lakers, that they are gifted the number 1 overall pick with just a 1.8% chance to land it.